How can we know God? Because we are all imperfect human beings and so much lower than God in His ways, it's not possible to completely know Him. However, it is possible to know some things about Him. The first way is through His Word, the Bible. The Bible is like a handbook for Christians from God, describing how we should properly worship Him and what He expects of us. When we study the Scriptures, we learn about God's wisdom, justice, love, and power. Next, we can know Him through His Son, Jesus. Jesus said, "Anyone who has seen me has seen the Father." This means Jesus was like a representative of God in all He stands for. Most countries have representatives or ambassadors who speak for the leaders of their country. An ambassador for the United States, for example, represents the American ways of thinking and behaving. So, by studying Jesus and His life, we learn more about God because Jesus represents and demonstrates the qualities of God. We can also know Him through His works. Just look outside and admire the beauty of nature. God designed and created everything we see: animals, mountains, oceans, and trees. There are countless different species of plants and animals, and think about how different humans are from one another. This tells us He loves variety and beauty. His creations are purposeful, wonderful, and interesting, deserving of our admiration and awe. His care in creating our earthly home strengthens our faith because He knows exactly what we need and what's best for us. Another way we can know God is through His people. What are your Christian friends like? They are probably doing their best to be kind, forgiving, and honest. This is because they want to follow God's will and His godly rules. They try hard to live righteously and do good to others. In this way, God's love and mercy is reflected in their actions, so we can look to God's people to see what He is like. Finally, we can begin to know God through our efforts to understand more about Him. James says, "Come near to God and He will come near to you." When we study the Bible, pray, and do our best to behave in ways that are pleasing to God, we are showing Him that we hope for His guidance in our lives. Speaking of God, Jeremiah says, "When you look for me, you will find me. When you wholeheartedly seek me, I will let you find me, declares the Lord." So, how can we know God? In these 5 ways: through the Bible, His Son, His works, His people, and through personal effort. Thank you for liking and subscribing.